Jungkook point of view. My brother decided to stay at our parents' place to let some of our relatives stay with our parents at the new place that I bought for them since the place was getting a bit crowded. I was reluctant at first, but Jeonjung convinced me that we won't be bumping into her since her father didn't mention anything about Wayan when Jung invited them to his wedding. I can't wait to go to your brother's wedding. This will be the first time me meeting your parents, Sarah said while clutching my hand. I gave her a weak smile and nodded. They are excited to meet you too. Do you think they are going to like me? She asked. I nodded. I have no idea. After Vayan, my parents had a hard time with whoever I was seeing. There was always something wrong about that person, but I honestly believe they were comparing them to Vayan. They loved Vayan even before we got together back then. So this is your childhood home? I have never been here, Sarah said. Yeah, I have not been back ever since I moved my parents to Hanam. Does she still live here? She asked, obviously about wine. Back then, our relationship was so public that it came to a point where people knew everything about us. So, when I got into any relationship after her, they already knew about my past. Last I heard, she moved to London, but let's not talk about her. Let's help Jung with his wedding this week, I said. I was carrying the bags into the house when I saw her father at the front porch playing catch with a little girl. I was trying to figure out who it was, but the girl's back was facing me, so I couldn't really tell. Maybe it's her niece. I carefully made my way into the house without making a sound. I wanted to meet her father, but Sarah called me in. I guess I'll just drop by later and say hi to her parents. I met my girlfriend a year ago and we only got together a few months ago, but we decided to keep everything at the very down low until we have figured things out. With her, I can't say things are better, but things are easy because she accepts me for the person that I am. We did not fight when I had to come back late or when I cancelled last minute plans. She was okay with everything, but for some reasons I couldn't open up to her like I did with Ryan, but I tried to. For the next few days I was there. I did not see her parents at the driveway anymore, but I knew there were people in the house. Since all of us were busy with my brother's wedding preparation, I did not make the time to meet Vayan parents. Maybe I'll say hi to them tomorrow at the wedding. The wedding went really well. I gave a heartfelt speech to Jung and his new wedded wife, and I was also the MC at the event. I managed to meet all of my childhood friends since it was a huge wedding, and when I was busy meeting everyone, I bumped into Ryan's parents. How are you, Mr. and Mrs. Min? I asked as I was going to them. Her mother pulled me into a hug, and I could tell she was tearing up. Are you okay, Mrs. Min? I was worried. Her father pulled her from me and assured me things were okay. I was puzzled with the reaction, but I guess because they had not seen me for years. Who was that? Sarah suddenly appeared. That was Ryan parents, I answered. Her smiles dropped when she heard the answer, but she quickly changed the subject and asked if she could meet my parents soon. Maybe later, okay, baby? They are busy entertaining the guests. I lied. I was not ready for her to meet my parents, but she has been asking me many times about it, and I thought this wedding would be a great idea since I know my parents are going to be busy entertaining the guests. Thus, having very little time to have a chat with her, I know, move, but I already knew how my mother would react. I didn't want Sarah to feel offended. Taeyong point of view. Any of you saw Wayan at the wedding today? I really thought I saw her parents, Jin said. We forget to mention to him about Wayan being back since Jin just touched down from Italy. All of us agreed not to tell Jungkook about Wayan since he is already seeing someone else, and we also made a promise to Wayan, but Jimin did tell me about the little girl that they met few weeks ago with Vayan. So all of you know that she is back? Jin asked in. Yoongi nodded. He has been busy with the wedding. We didn't want to add his headache. Besides, Vayan asked us to keep it to ourselves until she is ready to tell Jungkook. All of us looked at Yoongi and Namjoon bluntly asked, "Tell Jungkook what?" Hyoseok and Jimin looked at Yoongi in disbelief. "What are you guys hiding?" I asked them. Ryan's point of view. How was the wedding? I asked them the next morning. It was nice to see both of them. Your mom bumped into Jungkook before leaving the wedding. My dad responded, "Don't worry, Ryan. I did not tell him about you. My mother assured me. Thank you. Can I ask you guys for a favor? I need to drop my resume at this one office in the city. Could you please watch Era while I'm gone?" I had been back for almost a month now, and even though I have some money saved up for the next few months, I thought of going back to work just to occupy myself. I found few openings and one of it being marketing manager at Big Hit that Yoongi recommended. Well, no thanks. I was about to leave for the job interview when I saw a familiar car parked right outside my house. It was Jungkook's. I need to get out of here fast. For the past few weeks, I managed to not bump into him by on leaving the house at odd hours. Of course, I saw his new girlfriend, and of course, it stung my heart a bit, but it had been 3 years. He deserves to move on. I quickly walked to driveway, and that was when I heard a voice. I didn't have to turn around to recognize that voice. I stopped walking and completely froze up. That voice that I had been longing to hear, but in between his voice, I could hear the sound of the girlfriend giggling. My heart was beating fast, and I could feel the blood was rushing to my face, and my palms were sweaty. Ryan, Sarah, can you wait inside the car? I'll catch up with you. I was trying to figure out an escape plan, but my heart was beating too fast, and I was doing everything in my power not to shake. Right after his girlfriend went into his car, he slowly made his way to me. His face was neutral as his eyes were fixed looking at mine, but I could tell he was surprised to see me. "How long have you been back?" he asked. I kept quiet. I was still in shock to see him in the flesh. I knew I would bump into him sooner or later, but not this soon. "Are you back for good?" he asked again, and I nodded. I felt sick to my stomach when my head kept on replaying the moment we decided to get a divorce, and it felt worse when I remembered that his girlfriend was waiting for him in the car. I didn't respond anything, but I heard a loud honk from his car. "Your girlfriend is waiting," I said in a straight tone. Jungkook looked over his car and signaled her to wait. "Can we catch up, please?" he said, almost in a begging tone. "No." "Yes." "What the?" "I'll clear my schedule tonight for you. Can we meet here? I really want to talk to you," Jungkook said. I nodded. "Yeah, I'll see you at 9. I have to do something before that." "Yeah, I have to read bedtime stories to your daughter." I managed to go to the job interview and look at few play schools nearby for Era in case if I managed to score any job. I don't think I did my best during the interview sessions because of my little rendezvous with Jungkook. Text message. "I am meeting Jungkook tonight." I was about to text too. "He told us that he bumped into you, but all of us had to pretend to be shocked." Ryan. "Thanks guys, I owe you one. Please send my love to the rest." Yoongi. "Are you going to tell him about Era?" Ryan. "Not tonight." Jungkook point of view. The car ride to Sarah's parents' house was quiet. I knew she wanted to talk about it, but I didn't know what to tell her because I was as shocked as her when I saw Voyan at the driveway. As much as was avoiding her, I was glad to bump into her. She looked as beautiful as ever, and from the way I saw her, I knew that she was glad to see me too. She didn't hesitate when I asked if I could see her tonight. "So that's the famous Voyan?" Sarah suddenly spoke up. I bite my lower lip before hesitantly answer her. "Yep, that's Ryan. Why didn't you introduce me to her just now?" That was my first time seeing her after what happened. Both of us were shocked to see each other. "Are you planning to talk to her?" "Yes." "Can we not meet my parents today? I'm really not in the mood." "We already promised your parents that we would see them today. It will be rude to not show up." "What's rude is you already planned on seeing your ex-wife without talking to your girlfriend first." She spat. "Sarah, nothing is going to happen. I promise. I can bring Junki if that would make you feel better." "Fine, but we are still not going to my parents' house today. You can just drop me off. I just want to stay at home." I tried to reason with her, but she wouldn't budge. She still wanted to go home, and honestly, I couldn't be bothered to convince her even more. "Did you guys know that Ryan is back?" I asked the boys as soon as I arrived. "How did you know?" Jimin asked. "I bumped into her." "Did Mina tell you anything, Yoongi?" "She has been in contact with Ryan, right?" I asked. He quickly shook his head. "Liar." Out of all six of them, Wayan was closest to Taeyong and Jungi. I never understood the friendship, but when we made the decision to get a divorce, both of them didn't talk to me for weeks, and I knew both of them blamed me for it. Are you going to see her? Jen asked. I nodded. Tonight. Flashback. Wayan's point of view. Jungkook stormed into the room and threw the small backpack that he was carrying on the bed. He was frustrated with our fight that we were having this month. I don't get why are you so angry when I am the one that needs the assurance, Jungkook, I said, almost crying. He turned around, all huffed and puffed about the whole situation. Earlier that week, they had a skit with an actress, but somewhere along the line, she got a bit carried away with the skit and started contacting Jungkook at midnight. The feelings did not reciprocate, but because our relationship was very discreet from the media, Jungkook couldn't disclose about his relationship status. I'm tired of this. I will talk to the agency tomorrow and discuss on making my status public. Jungkook, that's not what I want. I just wanted you to talk to me about instead of keeping it to yourself. You know how bad it looks when your wife finds out flirtatious text that other women send to you? I know, but you can't keep blaming me on this. Jungkook was a wonderful husband, but when it comes to things like these, he was terrible at it. He didn't want to take any responsibilities whenever my feelings got hurt and I was getting tired of it. It's okay, Ryan. I'll make sure people know about us by the end of week. End of flashback. I was cut off by the doorbell ring. I had just put Ira down for bed and after changing the outfits for 1,000 times, I opted for lilac turtleneck sweater and paired it with light blue jeans. I quickly tied my hair into a messy bun and wore lip tint. This is as good as it gets, I said to myself while looking at the mirror. It was 9:30 p.m. Ira was already asleep and so as my parents. When I opened the door, Jungkook was standing there. He was wearing a light blue long sleeved button up shirt with a pair of black slacks. His eyes twinkled and he smiled as soon as he saw me. Do you want to talk here or go outside? I asked. Jungkook showed two brown paper bags to me and said, not sure if I got it right, but I bought your favorite food. I smiled and asked him to come in. We had dinner and started talking about life, but since I didn't want him to ask a lot of things about me, I tried to ask him a lot about him. How long have you been seeing her? I boldly asked. Jungkook looked taken aback with the question, but he tried to remain as calm as possible. Not too long. Have you been seeing anyone? Yeah, but nothing serious. Lies. How to find time? I have been busy taking care of our daughter alone, I thought. Chill, Ryan, not his fault that he is not involved. It's mainly yours. I'm really sorry for not trying to keep in touch after it happened, he said. Not your fault, Jungkook. Usually people don't keep in touch after they get a divorce, and I knew you were busy and I didn't make it easy for any of you to find me anyway. I chuckled. Jungkook smiled after he heard my you stop being friends with Yoongi. It was hard for me, Jungkook, and after you left you still have your six best friends with you. I lost a husband and my seven best friends. I didn't want to have a daily reminder of that. Jungkook point of view. The dinner with Ryan went quite well, but she avoided my questions relating to her life. We managed to really talk, mainly about me, but I didn't care. I was just glad that I could see her after years of her going missing. I was supposed to bring Yoongi, but he didn't want to intrude. I didn't tell Sarah about it. I really enjoyed talking to Ryan. She just listened to my stories, and I could tell that she was really proud of me, but something about her didn't feel quite right. Besides, avoid most questions about her, she was still oddly quiet, and I could tell she was quite wrecked with whatever she was feeling. Does she still have feelings for me, or maybe she has a boyfriend and she didn't tell him about me? Can you come hang out with the rest of the guys? I asked her. She nodded. I will try, but won't Sarah be uncomfortable that your ex wife is hanging out with your friends? Honestly, none of them have ever hung out with her. The agency has strict policy now after you know what happened, I told her. I'll think about it, she said. Then I bid her goodbye. Talking to her after all these years made everything feels right with world. I woke up smiling this morning, even though I know Sarah was dead pissed with me. Someone woke up with a smile. That's something we have not seen in a long time, Jimin joked. I just realized I fell asleep on the couch at our dorm, and when I wake up, the guys were sitting around me, just waiting for me to tell the juiciest gossip. You guys know nothing happened last night, right? I was puzzled. Jimin nodded. Yes, but does it mean we can finally see her? I asked her about it, but she is not exactly comfortable. You guys do remember Sarah, right? I responded. I could feel Taeyong was rolling his eyes as soon as I mentioned Sarah's name. Out of all these guys, Sarah definitely didn't pass his vibe check or whatever people call it these days. Did you mind us hanging out with her without you? At least you can still keep Sarah around and we can hang out with Ryan again. Taeyong sarcastically said. Text message. Sarah, are you still up for lunch? Jungkook. Yep, I'll pick you up in 2 hours. I am at the dome. Sarah. Okay. The lunch was awkward. I tried to make conversation with her, but clearly she was not interested. Look, if you are not up for lunch, why did you agree to go out? I bluntly asked. She looked at me in disbelief. You were the one who hung out with your ex wife at odd hours without Yoongi, as promised, and you are the one who's acting up? How did you know about Yoongi? I asked. It was a hunch, but seeing the way you respond, I stand corrected, right? Don't I? Can we talk about it at home? I said as I was paying the bill. The car ride was not pleasant either. Sarah started questioning about a lot of things, and as much as I wanted to argue, I knew what I did was not fair to her. But the thing that pissed her off the most was that she never felt welcome whenever she tried to talk to the guys. I kept blaming it on the agency when in reality they just didn't want to talk to her. Look, I don't want to fight with you, especially when I only have 3 weeks before I start heading back to the studio. I will not hang out with her anymore, and I will try to talk to the guys about this.